Local programming on KRWG made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Fronteras at Changing America. I'm Anthony Moreno. We conclude our education series with an episode today on parental engagement and involvement. On the program today, we feature parents who have chosen different ways to educate their children. First, joining us is Kelli Loudermilk. Kelli and her husband have enrolled their daughter in New Mexico Virtual Academy. Kelli is also a teacher at the academy as well. Please welcome Kelli and her daughter, Maggi Loudermilk. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to start off a little bit about why did you choose the virtual environment to educate your child?
Well, we were just looking for something different. We had gone from the elementary setting and we wanted a better education for our children. So Maggi is actually our second child to go through the academy. And we were really pleased with what New Mexico Virtual Academy offered with their curriculum. It is one of the most rigorous curriculums that is offered in the state of New Mexico. So.
Now, you mentioned curriculum. The curriculum is provided by K-12 Incorporated. That's a for-profit company. Did you have any were you already working for them at the time?
Actually, no, I was not. So her older brother had actually started the program in 6th grade, and then she followed again in 6th grade. So we actually, NMVA starts with our 6th graders and goes through 12th grade.
Before you enrolled your other child in this, did you have any concerns about, the curriculum or anything like that?
I think my biggest concern was just the different type of learning style. So instead of going into the building, sitting in your desk and having the teacher in front of you every day, we knew that as both the parents, my husband and I, we were going to take on a portion of that role. So we did know that, and just learning how to do schoolwork from a computer versus doing schoolwork paper, pencil from a desktop. And by desktop, I mean a computer desktop versus the one that's in the classroom. So it is just it is challenging at first.
Well, what are some of the challenges that you have to adjust to?
One is staying at home. So I think that was probably our biggest with both of our kids, learning how to move from being in the classroom. Your teacher does not sit with you every single day. When you're at home, I know that she was constantly asking me, Mom, come look at this. Problem number 1, is this right? Yeah, it's right. And then it was problem number 2, is this right? I'm not going to look over you. I want you to do your assignments. Once we set that routine and they knew do your assignments, then we check, just like what would happen in your brick and mortar classroom, we do at home.
Okay. Well, joining us now is your daughter, Maggi. You brought her along. Maggi, thanks very much for joining us. What grade are you in?
I'm in 8th grade.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what a typical school day is for you.
Well, I start school at 9 o'clock. I could pick what I want to do that day. I usually do math and then literature. And then I could take a break if I want to. Sometimes I finish early if I do all my work. Sometimes I stay up late so I can get some extra work done. So for the next day I don't have to do as much.
So what is it like, you get to kind of pick and choose your own schedule onto what you want to do each week? Is that really how it works?
Yes.
Now, how are the tests? How does it work for, studying for the tests and things like that?
They give you slides before the test, and it's like they give you a booklet too, and you could read over the booklet and then go through the slides, and it gives you like information you need, like samples, and then you could take your test.
So what are some of the kind of challenges that might be facing you as a student in the virtual environment. And traditionally you went to a school before, I guess, that was like a regular traditional school. What were some of the adjustments you had to make to go to this online learning system?
Some adjustments were that you couldn't see your friends as much. And that you didn't have to wake up as early.
So that was adjustment. You got to sleep in a little bit. Yeah. I see. So, I mean, you said you don't get to see your friends as much. Is there any way that you interact with other students in the academy?
Yes, we go to an outing on Fridays usually with our community and school friends.
Okay. So what are some of the outings some of the things you do?
We go to Hastings and work on school stuff, and then maybe next Friday we might go like bowling or somewhere, or to the state fair.
Okay, that sounds interesting. You get to mingle and hang out with other students. Is it just in your grade or in the entire?
In the entire K-12.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite subject right now?
Math.
What is it about math you like so much?
Mom doesn't teach math.
Oh, do you have your mother as a teacher?
Yes, I did for 3 years.
3 years, okay. So how was that having a parent as your teacher?
It was fun.
It was fun? Well, she's sitting right here, so is that what you have to say?
No.
Okay. Kelli, I'd like to hear a little bit about, you said that you wanted to put your children in the virtual academy because you wanted them to have a better education. What was it about the traditional education, brick and mortar school that you were not satisfied with?
Well, really they were allowing students to be moved on. So if you didn't complete an assignment, you received an I, and you were able to complete the assignment at any point in time throughout the year. The rules kind of changed back and forth, and they got a little more strict, but the bottom line was your child would not get anything less than a 70. It was okay for some students. For my kids, we had expectations anyways. But I really just wanted them to realize that there were due dates and things needed to be completed in a timely fashion. Now with our program, we have due dates for some assignments, but for the most part, students are able to do work at their own pace. We do give guidelines as to what they need to be completed each week, and some assignments are actually turned in their teacher graded assignments. But it really was just seeing how far behind. So my kids went to a different school district than what I had previously taught in, and just seeing the differences in the 15-mile directions that one school would have a great reading curriculum and the other school would have a great math curriculum, but neither district really had high expectations in a sense that we wanted to continue to push the kids to become better. So I've had a little bit of a wake-up call in that school was easy for me. I thought that A's is what every kid should be making. I've since realized that if you are pulling a C in your learning, that's where I want you to be. And so if I can push them to learn just a little bit more and to struggle in working just a little bit harder and pulling a C, that's great. For the most part, my kids do very well in school. Again, all kids kind of falter at times, but I'm really pleased with what NMVA has had to offer my kids.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about how parents can engage with their child's learning and how they are progressing. What does the Academy offer?
Well, parents are invited to every Class Connect. So if you wanted to come in and watch as your child is being taught a math lesson or English, science, history lesson, you're welcome to come into the classroom, interact with the students as well as the teachers when asked and prompted. Parents are actually invited to every Class Connect. We have weekly meetings. So every Monday I can go in and see what's going on with the Monday morning meeting. Outings, we ask that parents are involved in those outings. So we ask that the families attend. So my husband and our kids, they will always attend those outings that happen in the community.
Well, as far as the outings go, I mean, are there a number of the teachers and administrators that are involved in the outings
yes,
as
so
well?
There's always a teacher at the outings, and then some outings we ask for the students to RSVP. Some outings, in fact, yesterday we had one for the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Parade. So we met on the lawn more or less, and just, of course it was rainy and very cold yesterday, so we didn't have a great turnout. But like she said, we will have study sessions. So last year, that's what we did. We had a bi-weekly study session. I've been asked as the teacher if we would have those again. And even one of the parents said, you know, if we can't all get together, let's see how many parents can get together and let's just create a study session. And so that's also available if the families want, and so that interaction is also there as well.
Now, I'd like to learn a little bit about, you're also a teacher, so what is it that you teach?
I teach English language arts.
Okay, what's your history in education as a
So
professional?
this is my 8th year in teaching. I've taught 1st through 8th grades. This is my 3rd year with New Mexico Virtual Academy. I do teach the middle school English language arts classes, which is roughly 4 of their courses that they're taking. So it's broken into literature, GUM, which is grammar, usage, and mechanics, vocabulary, and composition.
So prior to teaching at the academy, you're teaching at public school?
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, just so that you know, New Mexico Virtual Academy is a public charter school.
Okay. Through Farmington?
Through the Farmington School District, that is correct.
Okay, and you guys are living in the Roswell area, is
yes,
that correct?
and we live in the Roswell area. So we have teachers that are actually scattered across New Mexico, just as our students are. In fact, we had a meeting last week, and we have students representing every single county in New Mexico.
Okay. Wow, that's so, I mean, you have students really everywhere, and I noticed the number of students are increasing, it seems like, and I know there's a cap.
Yes.
Is there a challenge right now with the number of students that you're teaching?
A challenge as in, should we be getting more students?
Or should, you know, as a teacher, I know that, what is the student-teacher ratio rate right now? For you, I should say.
Well, for me, I teach all of the middle school, which is roughly 200 students. But it's broken into my different segments. So I teach a literature class, and actually I invite 6th and 7th grade to one of the classes. I have roughly 120 or so students that come into the classroom. And then I also teach an 8th grade class, which is separate from the 6th and 7th, and I have roughly 100 students that come in there. The good thing, and one of the great things about New Mexico Virtual Academy, is students have an option whether to attend the class live or to go back and watch the recording. So it's not like having 100 kids in a regular building and inside your classroom where 99 things are going on. It's a very focused 1 hour where we're teaching, we do some interactions. We're able to break those students into smaller groups and segments if we would like, and have interaction. We do literature circles at different and various times throughout the year. So as far as a challenge, sometimes, well, at the beginning of the year, and probably with any teacher, just learning those rules and procedures of a classroom.
Okay. Now, we just have a little bit of time left, less than 30 seconds, but I was wondering, for a parent who's considering putting their kid in an online environment and they're coming from a traditional brick and mortar environment, what would you suggest some of the questions that they ask?
That they would ask to the teachers, or that they ask themselves?
The school, the teachers, and themselves. Just if you could do that, maybe.
Okay,
a
so
big
one I would say ask, are you able to set a schedule? And that would be any type of schedule. Two would be to ask lots of questions. There's never a right or a wrong question, but asking, sitting and waiting to find the answer isn't going to be there. You're going to just need to ask lots of questions. One of the things I do right now is I am actually involved with the new students that come in, and I'm asked every question that I would not even think of. So if it's something that's on your mind, you should probably say it so we can get it out there and get it figured out.
Wonderful. Well, I do want to thank you both for making the trip all the way from the Roswell area to here at our studios. So thank you very much and sharing more about the Academy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. We continue with our episode on parental engagement with learning more about how a local public school district works with parents of students. Joining us now is Brigitte Zigelhoffer, Coordinator of Community Outreach with the Institute for Parent Engagement with Las Cruces Public Schools. Also with her is Lila Thelen, a parent who has worked with the Institute and continues to work with the Institute to this day. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bridget, I'd like to start with you. If you could start off with sharing with us what the Institute is about. What's the mission of the Institute?
The mission is just partnering with our parents, teaching them to advocate for their children for a successful education. We offer them workshops to come in at each level, elementary, middle, and high. And the goal really is to create that collaborative environment for our parents to work with each other and work with our facilitators. And then we create a roadmap for them on how to maneuver through the school system at each level, elementary, middle, and high. The end goal always being graduation, college, and career ready.
So how long has the Institute been in existence?
We're now in our third year, actually finishing our third year, working towards our fourth. And we've graduated about 1,400 parents to date. We just had a graduation for this semester.
So how long is the process for the parents to go through the workshops and the course? Is it a year-long thing?
No, we actually offer it each semester. It's a 9-week program. The parents will get together once a week for an hour and a half. And we offer the courses in the morning and the evening. And they're offered in English and Spanish. So the parents have that time to just work together once a week. It becomes a ritual. They come with us. We watch their children. We provide daycare, so they have that undivided attention with our facilitator, and they spend time just working with each other.
What was really the need for the Institute in the first place? Was there some real challenges facing parents when it came to communicating with the school district?
I think our times are changing. I'm not so sure it's a communication problem. The school district is continuously changing. Different testing requirements, different assessments, different Common Core came into place. We just wanted to be a resource for our parents. And our society is changing where the family structure is changing, and so we have more parents working instead of being at home. And so we're trying to bring our parents back into the school system and teach them the information they need to know to where they can partner with the teacher, partner with the principal, know the questions to ask. Just opening the doors again.
I see. Now, what are some of the things that parents may be sharing with you as far as perhaps like fears they have when their child's going into education? I imagine they have a lot of questions about what to do, who to talk to, right, and what they should be prepared for.
Well, I think just being a parent is scary. So parents all have the same questions. They don't understand all the intricacies of assessments. We trust that teachers are giving us the knowledge, and we don't really know exactly which questions to ask when we go in for our parent-teacher conferences. Teachers want us to engage with them. They want parents to ask, what is my child's reading level? They want to understand what assessments are about. So that's what we're doing. We're just giving them the information. And parents are sharing with each other suggestions. Well, this is what I do at home to increase my child's homework productivity, or, so they're sharing thoughts and ideas on what works best and what doesn't.
I see. Lila, what was really the motivation for you getting involved with the Institute?
I got a phone call that my son, actually I had 2 children in high school at the time, and I got a phone call and they said, come on in, this is a great program. In fact, it was the pilot program. And so my husband and I were talking, we're going, really, do we want to do this? It's another thing. But something made us, and I can't explain what it was, but something just said, let's go check it out. And I am so glad that we did, because from the moment we walked in until the moment I graduated, I'm a happy parent. I'm a hands-on parent, have always been. Thought I knew the school district. My son was getting ready to go into college, and we had all that all set up and ready to go. But through IPE, or the Institute for Parent Engagement, we learned so much more than we thought we knew, but we learned more about that. And so that's how we got going with that.
Well, could you share with us a little bit about what were some of the things that just right off the bat that you began to realize, I had no clue about this, or this is some very important information that every parent should know?
Well, it turns out that my son, who was a senior at the time, when he started his senior year, they needed so many credits to graduate. And by the end of that first semester, during Christmas break, they changed the credits. And I learned that at IPE. We're on the front, lines of that. And so we were making sure that he was squared away. We were advocating. Turns out he was fine and he did graduate on time. But that was the biggest thing that stuck out in my head, was that IPE single-handedly said, this is what's happening. Make sure you talk to your counselor, get in there, and that's what we did.
So now you're working with the IPE as a staff member.
Yes.
What is the job that you do now?
I am now a facilitator, and I find it rewarding. I love it, passionate about it, because of going through it as a parent. I know exactly what it's like to be as a parent, and I think sometimes as a facilitator, when I speak to parents, they see me as a parent. I was in their shoes, and we connect very well.
What are some of the things that parents today are asking you, and is there anything that's the same, and is there anything that's different from the challenges that maybe you were facing?
All parents, usually it's about testing. They want to know about the testing. They want to know graduation requirements. And the biggest thing I can tell you is most parents are so relieved to find out that their child is normal. And guess what? It's just like most kids in there. That's our biggest thing. You see the light bulbs go off and they go, oh my goodness, my child is just the same as yours. And we're fighting the same battles, and we have the same obstacles in the way. So
it kind of helped to know that somebody else out there was dealing with the same exact issues.
Absolutely, yes.
I see. As a parent today, what would you suggest to the parents of today on getting involved with the Institute? I mean, is there anything that they should be aware of as far as once their student starts school, things that they need to jump on right away?
I would say from elementary on, homework, being in constant contact or communication with the school, meaning teachers, counselors, administration. Just know that they know that you are one of those parents that are on top of things. You're going to be advocating. And the biggest thing is to know that parents we do have power. We do have a say-so in our children's education.
I see. Bridget, as far as the Institute go, what are is there any new initiatives that the Institute is rolling out?
I'm so glad you asked that.
Well, we only have a couple of minutes.
We are actually rolling out the next level of our program. We will start it this spring. So
okay.
Those parents that have graduated from level 1 will now have an opportunity to take another series of workshops with the Institute.
Oh, okay, so it's
Another
like
9
a
weeks.
continuation for those folks who this semester are already
Yes.
wrapping up.
Once they graduate, they're so disappointed to see the workshops are finished. Well, what's next? Now we have something for them to take the next level of our workshops.
Do you have parents that get really inspired by this process? They go
She's
back
one
and
of
finish
them.
their education or anything
Oh,
like
we
that?
actually have had a few. We had a very, I shouldn't say very old, but an older gentleman who never graduated. He went back, got the credits he needed, and got his diploma. We do have people that it inspired. They see how easy it is to get into college, to start at the community college level or start at the four-year university. They enroll and they get into school. It's inspiring. It really shows how easy it is. It gives them the steps, they follow it, and they're there. So some of our parents are actually doing it with their children.
Wow, that's real exciting. And you said you were the same way?
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you both for being here with us. Thank you for taking the time and sharing about the Institute.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
All right. And we want to thank you for joining us. Remember, you could always visit our website, krwg.org, to watch this video as well as many of the other education pieces we've done in coordination with the Las Cruces Public Schools and also the League of Women Voters in Las Cruces. We want to thank them for their cooperation in this. I'm Anthony Moreno. Thank you for joining us.